Welcome back to Spotlight Reads, where we explore the darkest corners of literature. And with these words, we're introduced to one of literature's most tormented and, well, unforgettable narrators. He's speaking to us directly from his own squalid corner of the world. But he's not asking for pity. No, this is a confession. It's a rationalization. It's an attempt to expose the raw, aching nerve of a mind that's completely at war with itself. So, our descent begins with the narrator's own diagnosis of his condition. And for him, this isn't some physical affliction. No, the sickness is psychological. The sickness is thought itself. To think too much, to be acutely aware of every single motive, every contradiction, every past and future humiliation, he argues this isn't a gift, it's a disease. You see, the ordinary man, he just acts. But the truly conscious man, he's trapped inside his own intellect, endlessly analyzing everything until no path forward seems possible at all.
And this disease, this hyper-consciousness, it stops him from forming any kind of stable identity. He can't be truly spiteful because he's aware it's all just a performance. He can't be kind because he just despises himself for being sentimental. So what's left? He's just a swirl of, as he puts it, opposite elements, completely unable to become anything definite. An intelligent man, he concludes, is a man without character. So, having failed to become anything in the outside world, the narrator retreats. He pulls back into a space that is both a physical room and, more importantly, a state of mind. A self-imposed exile from everyone and everything. He creates this really sharp contrast between himself and what he calls the man of action. Now, this normal man is simple, maybe even a little stupid, but he acts decisively. The narrator, on the other hand, with his hyper-awareness, sees himself as a mouse, small, analytical, and totally paralyzed by all the complexities that the man of action simply doesn't see. His underground isn't a prison that's been forced on him. It's a fortress he's built for himself, brick by painful brick. For decades, he just marinates in his own resentment, replaying every single insult, tormenting himself with his own imagination. He's weaponized his own bitterness. And right here, this is the book's central, disturbing paradox. He actually discovers a kind of perverse pleasure in his own pain and degradation. That sharp awareness of his own humiliation becomes a source of intense, morbid enjoyment. To know you've hit rock bottom and to just wallow in that knowledge, well, that becomes its own strange reward. Now, from the safety of his mousehole, the narrator wages a philosophical war. A war against the very nature of reality. He rebels against the cold, hard, rational facts of existence itself. His main enemy is something he calls the stone wall. And what is this wall? It represents the tyranny of rationalism, the laws of nature, of science, of mathematics that operate completely without our consent. It is that simple, irrefutable truth that you just cannot argue with. It's the fact that twice two makes four. And this is his cry of defiance. He knows he can't actually break through the wall by banging his head against it, but he absolutely refuses to be reconciled to it. To him, his personal dislike for a fact is more important than the fact itself. It's a radical, profound assertion of his individual will against a completely indifferent universe. He argues that the greatest human good isn't happiness or well-being. It's the freedom to choose, even to choose what's harmful or totally irrational. For him, acting against your own best interests is the ultimate proof that you're a human being with free will, and not just, a piano key being played by the laws of nature. This grand, rebellious philosophy, well, it finds its expression in pathetic, squalid reality. He recalls a series of memories from his past, all of them stained by this feeling of wet, yellow snow, a powerful symbol of the urban decay and the moral filth that he feels inside himself. So he is in a tavern, and this tall officer just physically moves him out of the way, without a word, like he's nothing more than an insect, an inanimate object. And this seemingly minor slight, it becomes the central wound of his entire existence. It's a symbol of his powerlessness that he just cannot let go of. And his response, it isn't swift. Oh no. It's this meticulously planned, multi-year campaign of absurdity. First, there's the insult, which just festers and grows into an obsession where he stalks the officer for years, plotting his perfect moment.
Then, the preparation. He borrows money for a new beaver collar because he thinks he has to look respectable for his revenge. The confrontation itself is pathetic. He just plans to intentionally bump shoulders with the man on the street. And in the end, after this tiny collision, he goes home feeling this delusional sense of victory, believing he has finally asserted his equal standing in the world. After another night of total humiliation with some old schoolmates, our narrator finds himself with a young prostitute named Liza. And in her, he sees a chance for a genuine human connection. A chance that he will then systematically and cruelly destroy. Instead of a simple transaction, he launches into this self-righteous monologue, trying to play the part of a savior. He paints her this vivid, literary fantasy of family and love, a potential escape. He's building up this sublime and beautiful world for her, offering a false hope he has absolutely no intention of fulfilling. He gives Liza his address, an invitation into his world he regrets almost immediately. And when she actually shows up at his filthy apartment, his fantasy of being a hero collides with his miserable reality. She doesn't see a savior. She sees him for what he is, an impoverished, humiliated man. And he can't stand it. He can't bear her pity or her genuine affection because he's been exposed. His all-or-nothing mindset just takes over. Since he can't be the hero from his daydreams, he chooses the only other option, to grovel in the mud and to drag her down there with him. And so he unleashes this torrent of verbal cruelty. He confesses that his whole speech to her was just a game, a way for him to feel powerful. Then, in a final, devastating act, he presses money into her hand, turning his supposed act of salvation into the crudest of transactions. It's the ultimate assertion of his power, by completely destroying her hope. After Liza leaves, we're left with what seems to be his final philosophy. He concludes that to be truly, deeply conscious of the world's absurdity is to be rendered completely incapable of action. Any foundation for acting, whether it's justice, reason, or even revenge, it just dissolves under the acid of his overanalysis. The only logical outcome left is to do nothing. He tries to frame this paralysis not as a failure, but as a kind of victory. He champions his inertia as a superior state of being, a conscious refusal to participate in a meaningless world. Hurrah for Underground becomes this defiant cry of the modern anti-hero. But he can't keep it up. In the final moments, the pretense just collapses, and it reveals this raw human ache underneath. He admits he's lying to himself. He knows there has to be something better than the underground, some other way to live. But his own consciousness has made it impossible for him to ever find it. And so we are left there, in the cellar with him, caught in his unsolvable paradox. It's a trap that still resonates so deeply today, in our own age of alienation, of overthinking, of self-sabotage. And that is the enduring, powerful legacy of literature's very first anti-hero. This deep dive was brought to you by Spotlight Reads. Thanks for listening.
The underground man is not a monster. He is a warning. A mind so aware that it turns inward and destroys itself. A conscious mouse, trapped between cold logic and unbearable shame, haunted by wet yellow snow, the crystal palace, and the kindness he rejected. His greatest enemy was never the world, but the darkness within.